come prepared when you in the studio. If you paying for studio time, unless you got buku money like that, where you could just jack off $60 an hour studio time, or $20, whatever that shit is an hour now. You know, I know a lot of people don't write their raps, so they go in the studio, they get in the booth, drop a line here, then punch back in. They'll just punch in till they get their whole verse. But how long would that take if you paying? If you paying for studio time, that's not the greatest idea in the world. You kind of want to do that shit at home and then get to the studio and do that shit. If you're not going to write it in your head before you go. You know what I'm saying? I don't do a lot of features. Not that I wouldn't do features, but I don't do a lot of features. So I don't have problems like that, you know. And every artist I don't work with, you know, I guess you could say I work with them on their basis. You know, it was never, you know, me telling them you gotta do it like this. You know what I'm saying? We need you to come to the studio right now and drop that shit here like this. If you need to go home and write it, I didn't care. But I know people not writing now. But me, I write. I had my shit together before I go to the studio. If I'm reading this shit off the paper, then I'm still gonna do a good job. You know what I'm saying? I'm still gonna do a fucking good job. But most of the time when I'm going to the studio and I'm paying for studio time, I'm recording and rapping off the top of my, not rapping this shit off the top of my head, not off the top of my head, but I'm already got it in my head. Now I'm not reading it off the paper. You know what I'm saying? I know what I want to do and I know how I want it to come through, and that's what I'm doing. But oh shit, hey, my bad, I ain't even see. I about hit that fool. Yeah. Yo, my bad, man. I ain't see you back there, man. Yeah, alright. Yeah, what I was gonna say? Yeah, when I get in the studio, my shit is already together. I'm rapping that shit off the top of my head. That's if I'm paying for studio time. You know what I'm saying? But, I got a studio at the crib because I want to be able to record at the drop of a dime. And being a producer, you have to have a studio at the crib, or you need a setup at home so you can produce at the drop of a dime. If you live in it, you just living in that motherfucker and you just doing that shit all day long, every day, all day long. You know what I'm saying? But if you're not living in it, you need to be prepared when you go to the studio. Have your shit together. Whenever you get a chance, get your shit together so when you go to the studio, you're not wasting time. You're not wasting money neither. Wasting time is wasting money. You know, but coming and freestyling on some shit is one thing. And then this is the thing about that shit. What if that shit is whack? What if you punch in a whole 16 bars? You know what I'm saying? What if you punch in that whole 16 and that shit is whack? Do we have to wait for you to come back and punch in another 16? Nah. That shit is not good like that. So you need to be prepared before you go. Or you need to have some skill with it, with your technique. You need to have some skill with your technique. Be able to create fast. A lot of these people that's rapping off the top of their head, they creating at the drop of a dime, like right there on the spot. That's why they not writing. Cause I don't have time to sit down and write. I can create in the moment. That's some magic shit. That is some magic shit. Creating in the moment. I can create in the moment too. It's not always good, in my opinion. I feel like my best work is thought out. Not thought out. It's thought out. I didn't thought about it. Hold on. Hello?
I go to work at 11.
All right, where your mom at? Tell her to wake up. We gotta go get the car and some more things.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Damn, what the fuck I was kicking with y'all? Yeah. Having your shit together in the studio. It's a lot of shit going on out here. Yeah, you gotta learn how to work fast and create in the moment. A lot of these people don't have time to write and create. See, I can create either way. I can create on the spot. I don't like to create on the spot. You know what I'm saying? I like to take my time and come up with something dope so I can be 100% confident in what I'm doing. But situations don't always allocate for you to do that. So you have to play the game how it goes. That's and another thing about it too is always being in your craft, meaning you're always working. You always working. If you always working, you not worried about that shit. Cause you ready. You don't have to get ready or nothing, nigga. You're ready. You're ready. So you have to stay in your craft too. That helps as well, especially if you're just an artist, meaning like a rapper. We're just gonna say a rapper. If you're a rapper, you need to always be rapping. You need to always have raps on your mind and ideas, fresh ideas on your mind. You need to always be trying something new. Always trying something new. Strive for some growth in your shit. So be looking for something new. But then too, you wanna you wanna stay in your shit. You wanna be all the way in your craft. So you will always be ready. Even if you don't do the best job on the spot, you could come back and tighten it up. Or your on the spot jobs will get better on the spot. Anything that you do repetitively, you'll get better at it. So if I did more records on the spot, you know what I'm saying, I could get better at it. I just prefer to do it the other way, taking my time to do the shit. But I can make shit on the spot. I done made a hit record on the spot. I ain't bullshitting. I swear to God, I made a hit record on the spot. Maybe about 30 minutes. It took me about 30 minutes to write the shit. 30 minutes. 3 verses. Shawty Red made the beat. This is what happened. I had went to Atlanta. See, I came out in 2005 with Boss Man Records, and I was independent, selling underground, doing a bunch of things underground, making a lot of noise underground. You know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. So 2007, was it 2000? Yep. 2000, near the end of 2006, we went to the Ozone Awards and met TJ Chapman. I had knew him from this documentary called The Dirty States of America. And he was on there talking about how people listen to the radio, the underground radio stations, and don't listen to what's on the radio. So that's how I knew him. And I seen him in Tunica, Mississippi. And I went and hollered at him. Hey, man, I'm from Carolina, such and such. He like, man, I'm finna be up there. And I hooked him up with my CEO. And that was the turning point in my career right there. Because before then, it was studio and streets. It was all studio. Then we got out on the streets and I learned how to sell, which was very a hard pill for me to swallow. And I'll talk about that later. You know what I'm saying? I'll make a video on that. You know, how I became the salesman that I am today. Because it was not overnight. And it was pulling teeth. It was very hard because I'm a shelter. Now, I ain't going to say sheltered, but I was a shy person, man. And I was in my shell. I could be out, but I could still maintain my shell anywhere I went. But being an artist, you can't be in that fucking shell. You got to be out. That's a whole nother story. Back to the Shawty Red shit. Me making a hit record on the spot. So we in Atlanta. And the Shawty Red story is a whole story I need to tell too, because that was a pivotal point in my career. It shaped me for what I am today. The whole thing. But anyway, so yeah, I'm in the studio, and prior to this session, I had made some records with Shawty Red, and he didn't like them records. They was like bubblegum records to him. You know what I'm saying? They was like bubblegum, but it was a different kind of situation. It was like he was producing me, but he wasn't producing me too. He just produced the beat. Man, it's I have to get into that Shawty Red shit later. Long story short is, I was in the studio writing a record, and they were finishing up some records. I don't know who was rapping and what they was doing, but I do recall, I don't even think they was rapping. They was doing something with some music, playing it back or doing something, and I'm not sure exactly what it was, but they was doing something. I don't think nobody was recording no vocals at that moment or nothing, but they was doing something, because he went through the hard drive to find this beat. He played a couple beats. He played me some beats that he had made for Jeezy. I forget what album Jeezy was working on at that time too. But anyway, this how I know they wasn't recording, because he pulled the shit up on the hard drive. He hooked his hard drive up and found this damn beat. So he started playing beats, and he played this one motherfucking beat. It was a pop beat, not like It was like a booty music beat, I would say. It was like a booty music beat, up tempo, but jamming. I got the record recorded. Matter of fact, I'll release it. I'll post it. You know what I'm saying? If anybody wants to hear it, just say, post in the comments, hey, post that Shawty Red record you talking about, and I'll post it. Man, that shit is a fucking hit record right now. That shit jamming. It's a jamming record. But anyway, we was in the studio, and it was a whole lot of pressure on me to make a good fucking record. And because of the prior situation. So I was in there writing the record, and they left. I was in there writing it. I would say the shit took me about an hour. That shit took me about an hour. I'm gonna be honest, that took about an hour now that I think about it. Cause I was in there writing this shit in a different room, and it was two different rooms in there. And I came into another room to holler at my CEO and let him hear, because he was like, man, let me hear what you got. And he gave me a word, Key Largo. That's what he gave me, Key Largo. And I incorporated that in the rap. So I say for about 30 minutes, was it 30 minutes? I don't know how long it was. I would say the whole thing took about 2 hours at the most to write and record and everything. I didn't even write the hook. I just wrote 3 verses. I didn't even come up with an idea for the hook or none of that shit when I wrote the verses. I was just writing the verses. So I wrote the verses and shit. And they was gone. I was writing the second verse, and they was leaving. Going to the club. And Shawty was like, man, when we come back, you gotta have this record done. And DJ Dice was there too. He was like, yeah, this shit better be jamming. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna show you motherfuckers. Not like that. Not like in no shit like that. You know, but I was like, all right, watch. I'm gonna have me something when y'all come back. Man, they left. And me and the engineer was there. Cool ass engineer. I don't even remember his name, but he was a producer too. He had some dope beats. Matter of fact, he sent me some beats, and I rapped on one of them, but we ain't never get to really do nothing with it. What happened? Yeah, so they left, and I recorded that motherfucker. Boom. And that motherfucker was jamming. But I'm gonna have to get back into that, because I got a whole lot of shit going on right now, and I can't even explain it. But yeah, I did. I'm gonna come back. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give y'all the Shawty Red story when I come back. I'm gonna give it to you. I ain't gonna, cause it's a long story. I don't know how long that'll take. I'm gonna give you that whole studio session when I come back, because it was a lot of shit going on at the time. And that record was pivotal. That whole time was pivotal. But I'm going to come back and give y'all that Shawty Red record. But yeah, man, when you in the studio, have your shit together. Don't come to the studio when you unprepared. You're going to waste somebody's money. If somebody's funding you, you're going to waste their money. And they're going to be mad. And you don't want that if you're an artist. What you need to do is when you at home, take your time. Matter of fact, always stay into your craft and be working on your shit. So when your opportunity comes, you will be ready. When preparation meets opportunity, that's when success happens. Shout out to Tater Bug Baby. Yeah, so I'm out.